There's one thing you could do every day that will make a difference in your life, and that is make sure you do that number one most important activity either first or as early in the day as possible. Does your phone drive you crazy? You know, it keeps ringing all the time, right when you're in the middle of things, trying to get something done that's important, and the phone keeps ringing. Well, the first thing I say is well done. If your phone is ringing all the time and driving you around the bend, then you've done a great job of getting your business off the ground and running, because there's a lot of people out there that can't even get their phone ringing. So let's look at it. Your phone is ringing, driving you crazy. You can't get the things you need to do done. Well, it's time to take a step back and set up and focus on time for answering your phone and time for getting things done. And all we need to do is simply look at what are the important things you've got to get done in your day, and when you're sitting down focusing on those, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, you put your phone on silent and you don't answer it. Or you divert it off to someone else, a support person or a VA that can answer it for you. One of the key ways of being able to get control of your day and make sure you can do all the things that you need to do is to ensure that you set very clear targets. Very clear targets for yourself and very clear targets for your team and anyone that works around you. When we set clear targets for people, we give them something to aim at and to focus on. And then we can ensure that they have the skills and the tools and everything necessarily to achieve those specific targets. You know, when you're working with team, once we've set our very clear targets for them, the one thing I learned over the years and was drummed into me by a very important manager that I worked for was that we always need to inspect what we expect. And my clients hear these words from me all the time. Once we set an expectation on the people that are working around us, we need to inspect that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing and meeting our expectations. Do you get sick and tired and fed up with continually having to tell people the same thing over and over again because they never seem to understand what you say? They come back in tomorrow and they say, oh, I don't quite get what you said. Or you've been very clear in telling them something and you go out and then see what they're doing and it's just totally messed up. They've got it totally wrong. Well, it's probably not them. You've probably got to step back and have a look at yourself and how you're communicating with them. You know, so much time gets wasted in people's day because they do not know how to communicate with each other. And there's some really key areas that we need to focus on communicating with each other in. And one of them is understanding how people learn. As soon as you can start to identify the learning modality of a person, you can start to work with them in that modality. Now, there's three key modalities that people learn in. And one is visual. People learn by what they see. Then you've got the auditory learners, people who learn from what they hear. And then you've got the kinesthetic learners, touch, feel, do, hands-on. Now, people can be a real mix of these three styles. They can be high in one, low in the rest, high in two, low in the others, or they can be fairly even. But if you can just start to identify in each person how they learn in one of those three areas, you can now start to work with them in those modalities. Being in control of your time each day, being able to get what you want to do done, a lot of that can be impacted by the people that work around you and how you communicate to them. We've talked about the learning modalities of people, but there's another area that we need to watch and understand in people, and that is that we have primary behavioural styles in the way we operate and carry out what we do each day. And overall, people have four basic behavioural styles. And I use the DISC format because I think it's much easier to understand than most of the other formats that are out there and used. And DISC is an acronym for the four key behavioural styles of people. A dominant person, an influential person, a stable person, and a compliant person. Key here is, if you can understand the people's behavioural styles, you can now communicate in their style. And this is the key issue when we look at all this stuff is, you have a style and they have a style. And the important thing is when you're communicating, you communicate in their behavioural style, not yours. If they're the same as yours, that's okay. But if they're not, then you need to understand who they are and communicate in their style.